Well, it was terrific. I mean, I think it lifts our bench when you get drilled pretty good. He kind of shook it off and back to work and scores a goal, whatever it was, 2 shifts later. So certainly gives us a lift. We're not surprised. He's a tough kid. And in this playoff season, any playoff season, you got to take some hits. Take a number. Get back out there and play the game. Keep your discipline. And at some point, if you get a chance to, be physical against them, you take advantage of it. And I think that's the way we approach it.
Sergey, right side.
Coach, was this as close to a 60-minute full effort as it can get for a playoff game?
Yeah, well, I mean, certainly we elevated our game from game one. I don't want to go through the whole playoff series, but our start was good. They were physical. We answered the bell. We didn't give up much in the first. Maybe one. I think there was one tip scoring chance and generated some of our own. Took advantage of a power play opportunity and had the lead going into the first intermission. It's always our goal, on-time start. Hopefully with the lead, extend the lead, play winning hockey to finish the game. It's kind of how we approach it every night. And I think this, to answer your question, was as close as I can recall.
Right side in the back.
Coach, through two plus playoff rounds, it seems as if no matter what type of style of game the opponent wants to play, your team responds. What can you attribute that to?
Talent level of our group. We can skate with anybody. I think when we're on our game and skating, I think we're as good as any skating team in this league. We have physical players sprinkled throughout our lineup that can deliver the hits, and we just talked about Matt Grizzlies of the world that can bounce back off hits that aren't known as physical guys. They can skate smart, but it doesn't bother him. He'll bounce back. So I think that bleeds into whatever game is out there. We're going to play it, and hopefully play it well if you're executing. Then it comes down to, can you execute? Are you focused? Are you making the plays at the right time? And so skating or physical or both. I think Carolina's both. I think they have a nice blend of that. So do we. So makes for a good matchup.
Kevin, left side.
The Clifton goal tied a franchise record here for 19 different guys scoring in the playoffs. That goes back to 88. I don't know if you remember anything of that 88 team.
I do. Not all 18 scores, though.
Okay. What do you remember?
Was that the year the lights? I was at the game. The lights went out. So was that 88 or 89?
Yeah.
Sometimes I forget.
But beyond that, what does it mean from a coaching standpoint to have a bench where it's coming from so many different players? Does it feel contagious down there?
It does.
Does it change your coaching
No,
attitude?
it doesn't. It doesn't change. Yeah, I guess it would. If we're behind a goal at some point, and you're not getting secondary scoring, you're going to try to squeeze a little more out of your top group. So maybe every ozone draw, you're putting them out there, and all of a sudden, fatigue sets in for that group. We went through it a bit last year against Tampa. We weren't getting the goals, so you press with maybe your top guys instead of letting the play or the game come to you. And I think this year, because we've scored a lot more up and down the lineup, it's just a little easier to roll lines and look for your matchup, but roll lines and not, have to, overextend skill guys. And that's, I think any team that advances generally gets some level of that where, everybody's contributing or someone steps up on a different night. You're not relying on one area. And we've definitely got that. I mean, the Charlie Coyle line right now creates a big problem, I think, for the other team. You got Bergey's line right out of the gate. You got Krejci, who's a known playoff scorer, now with DeBrusque. Now you got a third line to deal with. So as, usually getting your D pairs out there, it's a lot of work to play against. If you want to play them, your top pair against two of those three lines. It's a big ask, and I think, that's a difficult ask as well. So it's benefited us a lot.
Front right, Jimmy.
Coach, you look around the teams that are left right now in the playoffs, and they're all getting offense from their blue line. You guys got plenty of that today. How key is that going forward?
Well, they were mad at Fluto's article the other day, so they stepped up. Listen, we are what we are. Grizz is not going to be a guy we expect to lead our offense back there. Torrey Krug, yes, we expect him to score, make some plays. The other guys are more secondary guys. I think Charlie's in the middle. He's a guy that we do expect to be one of those primary offensive guys, but he's not on that first unit, so the numbers aren't going to reflect it as much. But listen, they want to get up there and make plays when they're available. And I think today both the goals were guys that good skaters can get up the ice and recover if it breaks down. Both Clifton and Grizz, they were up the ice supporting what was going on, not leading the rush. I think that's when our defensemen will contribute. And it usually starts with a forward making a good play, separating somewhere on the ice, and then they're the next layer of attack, and that's generally how our offense comes from our back end. And a lot of back ends, but specifically ours. And it worked out for us tonight. I mean, you need it, generally speaking. You're going to need it. That's more the secondary scoring, and it matters.
Feel good to get a win on Mother's Day here, considering the history?
Yeah, feels great. Any win's a good win, though, in the playoffs, I'm not going to lie to you.
Have time for two more. Fluto on the left.
Bruce, with Mrazek being such an aggressive goalie, wondering how you think your players have perhaps looked for a pass or maybe hesitate just to feed into that, maybe take away some of that aggression.
Yeah, what goalie Bob does his presentation on the goaltender, and that's been discussed. Even the first chance Pasta had, he was way out. So we talk about, well, maybe you got to take the extra step. Now, Pasta was getting closed on. Berge has a rebound chance, but some of those situations have been brought up. I just think in the heat of the moment, the player makes the decision. But if you can get him moving, with Bobrovsky, we talked about that, very athletic, challenging. Similar, I think Mrazek's similar, just maybe not quite as quick, but you do have to get it up when it changes sides, generally speaking. So they've been informed and all that, and I think it's just hockey instincts from the players take over. At the end of the day, puck's on their stick. They got time and space or they don't. They got to make their split-second decision, and we have talented guys that are able to do that.
Last one, right side.
Have you seen in Connor his ability to know when to carry it, to when to join the offense, and kind of to make good decisions? Have you seen that confidence go up as the playoffs have gone on, and has your confidence in him gone up correspondingly?
I haven't necessarily seen that go up in the playoffs. We have confidence in Connor, because he's competitive. He's not shying away from the moment. When he's moving his feet, which we do have to remind him, get the motor running, he can separate and make good plays. And did we see it in him originally? That's all we saw in him when we first saw him at development camp. I thought he was a winger more than a defenseman at first. He was up and down the ice the whole time. So it's like, well, that's great. You got an assertive guy. It's better to coach it back than having to push a guy every night to do that. So he always had that in him, his willingness to try to make a play. And I think what they've done in Providence is tried to balance that. Done a good job. Hey, this is a time. This is not a time. Find that happy medium so you're still playing to your strength, but you're not reckless. And I think he's done a terrific job with that since he's been here. We have not had to talk to him much about when to go, when not to go. To me, it's more about getting him revved up and playing from the puck drop, which is the case with a lot of young guys. When the puck drops, be ready to go, be on time, and I think he's responded well for us.
Thank you, Coach.